It's always a great thrill to escape beyond the boundaries that adults have devised. Here we were in unknown territory. To travel without passports, that would be the ultimate in freedom. But more passports were on their way, and more boundaries. Lord Mountbatten, Viceroy and Governor General to be, came for our Founders' Day and gave away the prizes. I had won a prize for something or the other and mounted the rostrum to receive my book from this towering, handsome man in his pinstripe suit. Bishop Cotton School was then the premier school of India, often referred to as the Eton of the East. Viceroys and governors had graced its functions. Many of its boys had gone on to eminence in the civil services and armed forces. There was one old boy about whom they maintained a stolid silence, General Dyer, who had ordered the massacre at Amritsar and destroyed the trust that had been building up between Britain and India. Now Mountbatten spoke of the momentous events that were happening all around us. The war had just come to an end. The United Nations held out the promise of a world living in peace and harmony, and India, an equal partner with Britain, would be among the great nations. A few weeks later, the provinces of Bengal and Punjab were bisected. Riots flared up across northern India, and there was a great exodus of people crossing the newly drawn frontiers of Pakistan and India. Homes were destroyed, thousands lost their lives. The common room radio and the occasional newspaper kept us abreast of events. But in our tunnel, Umar and I felt immune from all that was happening, worlds away from all the pillage, murder, and revenge. And outside the tunnel, on the pine knoll below the school, there was fresh, untrodden grass, sprinkled with clover and daisies, and the only sounds, the hammering of a woodpecker and the distant, insistent call of the Himalayan barbet. Who could touch us there? And when all the wars are done, I said, a butterfly will still be beautiful. Did you read that somewhere? No, it just came into my head. Already you are a writer. No, I want to play hockey for India or football for Arsenal. Only winning teams. You can't win forever. Better to be a writer. When the monsoon rains arrived, the tunnel was flooded. The drain choked with rubble. We were allowed out to the cinema to see Laurence Olivier's Hamlet, a film that did nothing to raise our spirits on a wet and gloomy afternoon. But it was our last picture that year. Communal riots suddenly broke out in Shimla's lower bazaar, an area that was still much as Kipling had described it. A man who knows his way there can defy all the police of India's summer capital. And we were confined to school indefinitely. One morning after chapel, the headmaster announced that the Muslim boys, those who had their homes in what was now Pakistan, would have to be evacuated, sent to their homes across the border with an armed convoy. The tunnel no longer provided an escape for us. The bazaar was out of bounds. The flooded playing field was deserted. Umar and I sat on a damp wooden bench and talked about the future in vaguely hopeful terms. But we didn't solve any problems. Mountbatten, Nehru and Jinnah were doing all the solving. It was soon time for Umar to leave, along with some 50 other boys from Lahore, Pindi and Peshawar. The rest of us, Hindus, Christians and Parsis, helped them load their luggage into the waiting trucks. A couple of boys broke down and wept. So did our departing school captain, a Pathan who had been known for his stoic and unemotional demeanor. Umar waved cheerfully to me and I waved back. We had vowed to meet again someday. The convoy got through safely enough. There was only one casualty. The school cook, who had strayed onto an off-limits area in the foothills of town of Kalka and been set upon by a mob. He wasn't seen again. Towards the end of the school year, just as we were all getting ready to leave for the holidays, I received a letter from Umar. He told me something about his new school and how he missed my company and our games and our tunnel to freedom. I replied and gave him my home address, but I did not hear from him again. The land, though divided, was still a big one, and we were very small. Some 17 or 18 years later, I did get news of Umar, but in an entirely different context. India and Pakistan were at war, and in a bombing raid over Ambala, not far from Shimla, a Pakistani plane was shot down. Its crew died in the crash. One of them, I learnt later, was Umar. Did he, I wonder, get a glimpse of the playing fields we knew so well as boys? Perhaps memories of his school days flooded back as he flew over the foothills. Perhaps he remembered the tunnel through which we were able to make our little escape to freedom. But there are no tunnels in the sky.